The night was cold and silent over the lonely plains of New Horizon Colony. Thin silver rain fell across the open fields, hitting the tin roof of a small farmhouse that stood at the edge of the valley. Inside the house lived Elias Ward, a man who had once been an engineer for the colony's power station. Now he worked alone, fixing machines for neighbors and trying to raise his 10-year-old daughter, Lena, after his wife passed away 2 years ago. Life had become slow and quiet. Every morning, Elias repaired things, broken drones, old tractors, or weather shields. Every evening, he made soup, told Lena stories, and stared at the stars that filled the endless alien sky. He often wondered if anyone else out there felt as lonely as he did. That night, as thunder rolled through the valley, a bright flash tore across the sky. At first, Elias thought it was lightning, but it moved too fast, glowing blue and leaving a trail of sparks behind. Then came a sound like tearing metal, followed by a distant crash. The ground shook lightly beneath his boots. Lena ran into the room, eyes wide. "Papa, what was that?" Elias grabbed his coat and flashlight. "Stay inside, Lena. Lock the door." She wanted to argue, but she saw the serious look on his face and nodded. Elias stepped out into the rain, wind biting his face. He followed the faint smell of burnt metal and the strange blue light that flickered in the distance. After walking for almost 10 minutes, he reached a smoking crater at the edge of the forest. Inside it lay something that didn't belong to any human design. A small silver pod half buried in mud, glowing softly. He approached carefully. The hatch was cracked open. Inside he saw movement, a figure curled up, breathing weakly. It was no human. The creature was humanoid but taller, with silver-blue skin that shimmered faintly under the rain. Her hair was white like starlight, her face peaceful but tired. A soft light pulsed on a small device wrapped around her arm. Elias felt fear but also pity. She looked hurt, not dangerous. He whispered, "You're alive, aren't you?" The figure's eyes opened slowly. They glowed faintly, pale gold, kind but full of pain. Her voice came out soft, broken by exhaustion. "Please, not soldier." "Help." Elias hesitated only a second longer. Then his human instinct took over. He took off his coat, wrapped it around her shoulders, and pulled her from the wreck. She was light, fragile even, like someone who hadn't eaten in days. He half carried her back to the farmhouse, struggling through the mud. When Lena opened the door, her mouth dropped open. "Papa, is that—" "Don't ask," Elias said quickly. "Get the blankets and the first aid kit." They laid the alien woman on the couch near the fire. Her breathing was shallow. Her wounds looked like burns from energy weapons, but not deep enough to be fatal. Elias did what he could, cleaning the wounds, wrapping them, giving her water. He had seen alien species before from faraway colonies, but never this close, never like this. After some time, the woman opened her eyes again. "Thank you," she said softly, her accent heavy. "I am Seren Valari." Elias nodded slowly. "I'm Elias Ward. That's my daughter, Lena." Lena waved shyly from behind a chair. Serene smiled faintly, though her eyes seemed full of sorrow. "You fell from the sky," Lena said quietly. Seren nodded. "This and my ship destroyed? No home now?" Elias wanted to ask questions, but the look in her eyes stopped him. He saw something familiar there, loss, the kind he knew all too well. So he only said, "You can rest here. You're safe." Days passed. Seren recovered slowly. She didn't eat much, only small pieces of fruit or bread, but she regained her strength. She spent long hours sitting by the window, watching the fields and the sky as if waiting for something. Or someone. Lena liked her. The little girl brought her drawings, told her stories about the colony, even taught her small words in human language. Serene, in return, told her stories of stars, of worlds made of crystal seas and floating forests, of creatures that sang in colors instead of sounds. Elias often listened quietly from his workbench. It had been years since laughter filled his home, but there were things he couldn't ignore. At night he noticed Seren checking a small round device she kept hidden in her bag. It glowed faintly blue, pulsing like a heartbeat. Once, when she thought he wasn't watching, she whispered something into it in a language he didn't understand. He didn't ask about it. Not yet. He owed her kindness. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that she was running from something. One afternoon, while repairing the generator, Elias found Seren outside, standing in the rain without a coat, looking up at the sky. "You'll catch cold," he said gently. She turned to him, her golden eyes distant. "Your world is quiet," she said softly. "No weapons in the air. No fire." "That's how we like it," he replied. "We had wars once. Now we try to build, not destroy." Seren looked away, almost ashamed. "My people forgot that lesson." "Then maybe it's time they learn again," Elias said. She smiled faintly. "Perhaps humans can teach us." They stood in silence for a while, watching the clouds drift apart. For the first time in a long time, Elias felt a strange peace, but peace never lasts. That night, long after everyone had gone to sleep, Seren sat by the fire holding her small device. Her hand trembled as she pressed a sequence of symbols. A faint hum filled the room. The device blinked once, twice, then glowed steadily. Somewhere high above the colony's orbit, a distant receiver woke up. A signal long dormant, now active again. Seren stared at it, her heart heavy. "I only wanted to live," she whispered. "Please, let me live." The light faded and she hid the device away. In his room, Elias stirred, hearing something faint outside. A low rumble far off in the clouds, not thunder this time. He sat up, frowning. The rain had stopped, but the air felt strange, thick. The stars seemed dimmer. He looked toward the barn where Seren had first slept after the crash. For a moment he thought he saw a flash of light in the sky, like something reflecting sunlight. Only there was no sun. He shook his head, telling himself it was nothing, just imagination. But deep down, he felt it, the calm before a storm he couldn't yet see. In the following days, life seemed normal again. Elias fixed machines, Seren helped with tools, and Lena played near the fields. Yet something unseen moved above them. Far out in orbit, beyond the reach of human satellites, a dark ship drifted silently. Inside it, alien eyes watched the small colony below. A signal had reached them. On the ship's bridge, a mechanical voice spoke. "Target confirmed. Survivor of Rebellion Sector 7 located. Prepare retrieval." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Seren Valari. The widow of the rebel leader. She will not escape again." And on the ground below, Elias Ward, lonely father, humble man, had no idea that the kindness he had shown would soon bring danger to his very doorstep. Morning light touched the fields of New Horizon Colony. Birds glided through the pink sky and machines hummed softly in the distance. Everything looked peaceful, but inside Elias Ward's heart a quiet worry had begun to grow. For the last few days he had noticed strange things. The communication tower blinked oddly at night, showing signals he didn't recognize. Some of the colony's scanners picked up weak static bursts from orbit, and once, while checking his solar panels, he found a small black fragment of metal, melted like from a ship's engine. Elias didn't say anything to Seren or Lena, but he couldn't ignore it anymore. Something was out there. Seren, however, seemed calm. She spent her mornings helping Elias fix the irrigation system, and her evenings teaching Lena how to write her name in glowing alien symbols. The house, once cold and quiet, now felt warm again. But even as she smiled, her eyes often drifted toward the horizon. She could feel it, the soft vibration in the air, the distant hum of something she once knew too well. One night, while Lena was asleep, Elias found Seren outside again, sitting by the field and watching the stars. "You're awake too," he said softly. She nodded without looking at him. "I can feel them," she whispered. Elias frowned. "Feel who?" "My people's ships," she said slowly. "The Dominion. They are near." He froze. "Your people are coming here?" Seren looked at him sadly. "Not my people. The ones who destroyed my world. They want me dead." She hesitated before speaking again. "Long ago I was not only a traveler. I was a commander. My mate led a rebellion against the Varan Dominion, cruel rulers who enslaved weaker worlds. We fought to free them, but they crushed us. He was killed and I escaped. Since then, I have been hiding from them." Elias stood silent for a moment. "The night felt colder, so that crash," he said slowly. She nodded. "They found me on another planet. I ran, but their ships fired on mine. I barely survived. I thought if I came here, so far from their space, I would be safe." Elias sighed, rubbing his forehead. "And that device you have? The one that glows?" Seren's eyes lowered. "It was a locator. I kept it for memories. But it sent a signal. I didn't know it was still active." Elias felt anger rise for a second, then pushed it down. You're saying you might have led them here? Serene closed her eyes. Yes, and I am sorry. He wanted to shout, but when he looked at her trembling hands, he saw fear, not guilt. She was just tired of running. He spoke quietly. If they come here, what will they do? They will search, question, destroy if they must. They do not leave witnesses. Elias's jaw tightened. Then we'll make sure they don't find you. Seren's eyes widened. You cannot fight them, Elias. They have weapons your kind cannot imagine. He gave a small smile. Maybe. But humans don't always need big weapons. We use what we have, and we don't abandon our friends. The next morning, the peace of the colony broke. The sky turned dark as a huge shadow passed overhead. Children ran outside to look, and workers froze mid-task. A massive ship entered the atmosphere, its engines rumbling like thunder. It didn't fire, but it sent waves of static across all communication lines. A voice echoed through every speaker in the colony. Citizens of New Horizon, this is Commander Dareth of the Varan Dominion. We seek one fugitive, designation Seren Valari. Surrender her and no harm will come to you. Panic spread through the streets. People whispered, hiding in their homes. No one had ever seen a Varan ship this close to human space before. Elias listened to the broadcast, then turned off the speaker. He looked at Seren. They found you. Seren nodded. I will leave. I will go far into the desert. They will follow my trail and leave your colony alone. But Elias shook his head firmly. You won't survive out there, and I won't let you go alone. Elias, if you help me, they will kill you, she said desperately. He smiled faintly. Then we'll make sure they can't. For the next few hours, Elias worked without rest. He dug through his old engineering tools, pulling out old metal plates, wires, and power cells. Serene helped him, using her knowledge of alien energy to guide him. Together they built something, a shield generator made from scrap parts and alien tech. It won't hold for long, Elias said, sweating, but maybe a few hours. Long enough to hide you. Serene looked at him with awe. You build like a soldier. He chuckled softly. No, just a father who refuses to lose someone again. When Lena asked what was happening, Elias knelt beside her. We have visitors coming, sweetheart, bad ones. You need to stay in the underground shelter until I say it's safe. Lena's eyes filled with fear. What about Seren? She'll be okay, Elias said gently. We'll make sure of it. Lena hugged Seren tightly before going down to the shelter. Don't let them take you, she whispered. Seren smiled sadly. I promise. As night fell, the Varan soldiers arrived in small landing crafts, their black armor shining under the colony lights. They moved through the streets like shadows, scanning each home, demanding answers. Inside Elias's house, the air shimmered faintly as the homemade shield activated. The lights dimmed and a low hum filled the walls. Seren watched the readings on her device. It works. They cannot see us for now. Elias nodded. Good, let's keep it that way. Hours passed in silence. Through the window, they saw lights sweeping across the fields as search drones moved closer. The shield flickered slightly, straining against the power load. They are scanning harder, Seren said, voice tight. They will find us soon. Elias picked up his old plasma cutter. A simple tool, not a weapon, but the closest thing he had. Then we'll make them regret looking. Seren looked at him in disbelief. You are one man. They are soldiers. Then I'll be one stubborn man, he said. That usually helps. For a moment, Seren almost laughed. Even in danger, humans could find courage. It reminded her of her husband, the same fire, the same stubborn will to protect. Outside, thunder rolled again. Not from the sky, but from the Varan ship powering its cannons. The soldiers were preparing to destroy any structure that blocked their scanners. Seren gripped the window frame. They are going to burn the colony! Elias looked at her. Then we stopped them. You know their systems, right? She nodded. Yes, but I need access to their signal network. He pointed to his workshop. Then we make one. Together they connected her alien device to Elias's transmitter, creating a strange fusion of human and alien technology. Sparks flew, but the signal began to pulse. Serene typed fast, sending false data into the Varan system, images showing her life signs far from the colony. For a few moments, the Varan ships hesitated. The soldiers stopped scanning. It's working, Seren said, her eyes wide. But then the signal flickered again. The power core inside the house sputtered. Elias rushed to stabilize it, his hands shaking. Too much energy draw, it's overheating. The shield dimmed, then failed. In the distance, the Varen scanners locked onto the house. "They've found us," Saren whispered. Elias grabbed her arm. "Downstairs now." They ran to the shelter where Lena was hiding. The child's eyes were wide with terror as the ground shook from distant explosions. Serene looked at Elias, voice trembling. "I will surrender. If I go to them, they might spare you and your daughter." Elias's face hardened. "No, that's not happening." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "Elias, you have already done too much. If I stay, you all die." He looked at her with determination. "If you go, everything you fought for means nothing. We'll find another way. Together." The house shuddered as the first drone appeared above, shining a blinding beam of white light through the roof. Serene's golden eyes reflected the light. "They are here." Elias raised his tool like a weapon. "Then let's make them wish they never came." Outside, the soldiers prepared to descend. Inside the small farmhouse, a human father and an alien widow stood side by side, ready to fight for life, family, and the fragile peace they had built together. Above them, the dark Varen ship circled, its engines roaring like a storm about to break. And as the first shot lit the sky, the war that Seren had escaped finally found her again, on a small human world where kindness had once felt safe. The sky over New Horizon Colony glowed with the engines of the approaching Varen Dominion ships. Their black metal hulls reflected the last of the sun's rays, turning the clouds above into streaks of orange and silver. Below, the colony stirred with panic. Farmers abandoned their fields, workers fled their machines, and children clung to their parents, eyes wide with fear. Inside the Ward farmhouse, Elias, Serene, and Lena huddled in the underground shelter. The hum of the protective shield above the house had long since faded. Elias's hands gripped the edge of a table, eyes fixed on the small monitor showing the approaching ships. Lena sat on the floor trembling. "Papa, they're going to take her, aren't they?" She whispered. Elias crouched down beside her. "Not if I can stop them," he said firmly. "We will fight for her. We always fight for family." Seren knelt next to Lena, brushing the girl's hair back gently. "You are very brave, little one," she said softly. "Your father is brave too." "I've never seen humans like him before." Elias glanced at her. "We may not have ships or weapons like theirs, but we do have something stronger. Heart. And determination. That's human strength." Serene's golden eyes glimmered with hope, but the worry in them never left. She knew the Varens were not ordinary enemies. They had hunted across galaxies, crushing entire worlds, and now they were here. The first Varen soldiers landed near the edge of the fields. Their black armor gleamed, and their scanning devices sent waves of blue light across the colony. Their orders were simple: find Seren Valari and capture her alive. Anything else was collateral. Elias knew the farmhouse would not hold them for long. He turned to Seren. "We need a plan, fast. You know their systems. Can we stop them?" Seren nodded. "Yes, but it will be dangerous. I can disable their ship temporarily, but it may expose us." Elias didn't hesitate. "Then we do it. Together." Using the old communication equipment in the barn, Seren connected her alien device to the human transmitter. Sparks flew as alien technology fused with human electronics, a strange mix of glowing circuits and humming metal. The monitor flickered with star maps, energy readings, and Varen ship positions. "They are vulnerable for a short time," Seren said, pointing at the display. "If we overload their energy core, it will disable their ship for a few minutes. Enough to escape or hide." Elias clenched his fists. "Then let's overload it." Outside, the Varen soldiers approached cautiously, unaware of the trap being set. One of them, scanning with a device, stopped suddenly. "There's interference in the area," he reported. The commander's voice crackled over the comm. "It's the fugitive. She's hiding nearby. Find her." Elias and Seren worked frantically, connecting wires, rerouting power, and preparing the overload. Lena sat quietly, watching, clutching a small stuffed animal for courage. Serene looked at Elias. "Are you sure this will work?" He nodded. "It has to. For all of us." Finally, everything was ready. The generator hummed, energy flowing in dangerous streams. Serene typed the final sequence into the device, and the barn shook with power. Outside, the Varens noticed a bright pulse of light, and their scanners went haywire. The ship above groaned, alarms ringing through its hull. The energy core fluctuated violently, and the lights blinked on and off. "It's working," Serene shouted, relief mixed with fear. Elias grabbed Lena. "Stay close to us. It's going to get loud. A massive pulse of energy shot from the device, hitting the Varen ship directly. Sparks flew, engines roared, and the ship shuddered violently. A wave of electromagnetic interference disabled its weapons, sensors, and communications temporarily. The soldiers outside froze, unsure what was happening. In the brief chaos, Seren made her move. She activated a small personal transporter, a gift from her world, to create a signal decoy. It looked like her escaping in one direction, while in reality she remained hidden with Elias and Lena. The Varen commander's voice boomed angrily. "Do not let her escape. Capture her." But the EMP pulse had bought them precious minutes. Elias and Seren guided Lena toward a secret exit from the basement, a narrow tunnel they had reinforced weeks ago as a precaution during colony drills. Outside, the colony's fields were eerily quiet, the only sound coming from the distant thrumming of the disabled Varen ship. Seren glanced at Elias. "It's now or never. I need to send proof of their crimes to the human network. People need to know the truth about them." Elias nodded. "Do it. We'll cover you." Serene connected her device to a long-range transmitter. She sent detailed records, ship logs, images of destroyed worlds, and evidence of the rebellion's oppression. In minutes, the information streamed across human communication channels. Within hours, humans everywhere would know about the Varen Dominion. Back at the farmhouse, the shield flickered one last time before dying completely. Varen soldiers stormed the area, weapons drawn. But when they tried to scan for life signs, all they found was a faint signal pointing away from the house, thanks to Seren's decoy. The commander cursed. "Impossible. They are hiding too well." Elias and Lena ran silently through the tunnels, holding hands. Serene stayed behind just long enough to ensure the decoy worked. Then she slipped into the tunnel behind them. Together, they emerged in a small forest on the outskirts of the colony. The night was quiet now, only the stars witnessing their escape. After several tense hours, the Varen soldiers retreated to their ship, which still malfunctioned from the overload. The energy pulse had disabled their engines just enough to force them to leave orbit. Commander Dareth swore revenge, but for now, Seren was safe, and the humans had survived. Elias, breathing heavily, sank to the ground. Lena ran into his arms, crying and laughing at the same time. "We did it, Papa," she exclaimed. Seren approached, smiling faintly. "You are incredible," she said. "I have seen many worlds, fought many battles. But humans, you fight for others even when you have nothing left to gain. That courage, I had forgotten it." Elias smiled, wiping the sweat from his forehead. "That's what family does. And sometimes even strangers become family." Seren knelt beside Lena. "Thank you, little one. You reminded me of life, of hope." Lena hugged her tightly. In the days that followed, life slowly returned to normal. Repairs were made to the farmhouse, crops replanted, and machines restored. The colony began rebuilding, unaware that a small act of human kindness had changed the course of a larger conflict in the galaxy. Serene prepared to leave. She could not stay forever. Her presence would attract the Varens again. But before departing, she turned to Elias and Lena. "You gave me shelter, taught me trust, and showed me kindness," she said. "I will never forget this place. I will carry your courage across the stars." Elias shook his head. "You saved us too. You reminded Lena and me that even in dark times, hope can survive. Maybe one day we'll see you again." Seren smiled, placing a small glowing crystal in Elias's hand. "For protection, and for remembering me." With that, she stepped onto her small transport device. A soft hum filled the air as she rose, disappearing into the sky, leaving behind a trail of shimmering light. Lena ran to the field, waving. "Goodbye, Seren." "Thank you." Elias held his daughter close. "She'll always be a part of our story, Lena, just like your mother." That night, as father and daughter looked at the stars, the universe felt both vast and familiar. Somewhere out there, Seren was alive, free, and carrying the memory of human courage with her. And Elias realized something profound. Even a lonely heart, extended in kindness, can change the course of galaxies. The stars shone brighter than ever, and in the distance, the faint hum of the repaired colony whispered a promise. Life continues, hope endures, and humanity's spirit can touch even the farthest corners of the universe.